Welcome, it's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. Good to be with you today. We got a lot to cover today. Corinne Clark, who is co-founder of Free Press Fail, will chop it up with me today in the bullpen about Biden's pledge to add a black woman to the US Supreme Court and maybe vaccine protocols as well. Also, my contributor today, breaking down news of the day, none other than the big homie Wosny, host of Woke Bros and writer at The Ringer. Top story of the day. Let's put his picture up. Let's start it that way. This man, his name is Justin Julian. He has been accused and arrested for placing cameras inside of the bathroom at an elementary school where he teaches. That's what he's accused of doing. This was in Cobb County, Georgia. A Cobb County elementary school employee has been arrested and accused of eavesdropping on students as young as 8 years old in a school's bathroom. The criminal warrant from the magistrate court of Cobb County, obtained by CBS 46, alleges that 37-year-old Justin Craig Julian of Ackworth placed a camera in the boys' bathroom at Blackwell Elementary School on January 26th. The warrant says Julian used the camera to observe two 10-year-olds and an 8-year-old use the urinal. He is charged with 3 counts of felony eavesdropping and surveillance. Now, that's not it. The story gets deeper. Now, I want to remind you, these are felony charges. He has violated the public trust. He was arrested. You know how he got caught? One of the children, one of the very young children, found the camera and was horrified, panicked, and informed a faculty member of what was in the bathroom. Imagine that. It gets deeper. Julian, let's put his picture up again, remind people of who he is. That guy is also charged with first-degree cruelty to a child. That's another felony. So we got multiple felonies because one of the children who found the camera in the bathroom was distraught before notifying a teacher at the school, according to the warrant. A Cobb County School District spokesperson sent CBS 46 News the following statement, and I quote, "As soon as the administration discovered the issue, they immediately reported it to police and are fully cooperating with the investigation. The allegations against a school employee are abhorrent, totally unacceptable, and violate our employee code of conduct." Well, you don't say. The employee has been arrested, and all applicable laws and district policies will be strongly enforced in every possible way. We ask the community to continue to join us to make sure our schools are safe. Okay? Strong words, right? They're saying the right thing here. Police were notified. An arrest warrant issued by the magistrate judge. He goes to the pokey, gets arrested. He makes bond immediately. You know why he makes bond immediately? Because the judge decided to set his bond at a whopping $15,000, which means he gets out for $1,500 through the local bonding company. That's what they set his bond at. Now remember, multiple felonies against children. He's on school property, holds a position of significant public trust, and he gets to go home for $1,500. The message is not congruent here, okay? Now, I bring this story to your attention because I always want to remind parents that real monsters do exist in the world. Be vigilant, make sure you have open lines of communication with your children. Make sure there's an opportunity for engagement, even if the engagement is uncomfortable, they need to be able to talk to you. They need to be able to tell you what's going on. Predators like this guy who has been alleged in this crime, they seek opportunity around children. They seek positions of public trust. They seek to be in this line of work. Now, obviously, the vast majority of people who work with children are great people. I was adopted by a school teacher. She's a remarkable woman. But monsters do exist. All right, Wosny, thoughts here?
First, we gotta salute the young man who spotted this camera. The level of vigilance that probably took is kind of amazing. I think about myself as a as a mid-30s washed up old man, and my vigilance be slacking sometimes. So the fact that this young man was able to find this, kudos to him, because that's probably the only thing that would have put a stop to this. But second, of course, I'm struck by just the sort of slap on the wrist nature of the judicial system when dealing with this guy. We know what tends to happen to people who might, I don't know, damage property, steal a car, sell some weed. Like these people, they have the full extent of the law drawn down on them. And to watch this guy with this extremely predatory, dangerous, damaging behavior, just be able to hit the streets for $1,500, it boggles the mind.
Yeah, it's quite insane. We are going to continue to follow that story. That story is still developing. We're waiting on the background of this employee so that we can highlight if there's been an issue on record left unchecked by the district. We found that before with other teachers we've covered who have violated the trust of their children in their classroom. HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, children, students, sheltering in place, running, afraid, scared, getting bomb threats. Who can learn in an environment like this? And this is the second time this has happened nationally, specifically to HBCUs within a matter of months. Let me bring your attention to a developing story. At least half a dozen historically black colleges, universities in 5 states and the District of Columbia were responding to bomb threats yesterday, with many of them locking down their campuses for a time. Both the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives are investigating, the agency said in separate statements. Let's put up a picture of a great HBCU president, Dr. Kevin James, who's the president of Morris Brown College. I was able to speak directly to President James today, and he said, and I quote, "Historically, HBCUs are a safe haven for African American students to receive a quality education. It is unsettling that at this time in history, especially during Black History Month, HBCUs are under such an attack. We are hopeful that local and national authorities take these threats seriously and bring justice to the perpetrator or perpetrators involved." There's more to this story. Now, I want to remind everyone, HBCUs are near and dear to my heart. I'm a professor at an HBCU. I graduated from an HBCU. I understand the worth, the value, the impact on the culture HBCUs have. This is the second damn time I'm covering massive bomb threats targeted to HBCU campuses around America. In Georgia, Albany State University warned its students and faculty on social media that a bomb threat has been issued to Albany State University's academic buildings. School officials at Southern University A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, told students to stay in their dormitories Monday morning. After search for any suspicious devices, the university gave an all clear later in the day. Normal campus operations were expected to resume today, according to school officials. Howard University. The vice president, Kamala Harris, is a graduate from Howard University. Howard University was also the subject of a bomb threat before dawn on Monday, but later gave an all clear to students and staff, according to radio station WTOP. In Florida, Dayton Beach Police said in a tweet that they gave the all clear at the Bethune-Cookman campus after the school received a bomb threat, but classes were canceled and police said they were going to stay on campus for the rest of the day. Who can learn in that environment? Oh, there's more. Delaware State University, a bomb threat to that campus was made early Monday morning. and police completed a search of the campus by early afternoon. The Delaware State President said, and I quote, "We are safe, for which I am incredibly thankful. But the attempt to disrupt targeted our community because of who we serve and the mission we fulfill." Delaware State President Tony Allen said in a letter to the campus community, "The impetus for such a threat cannot be ascribed to anything other than the most primitive form of racism, a form which is neither new nor unique in this country." Monday's bomb scares came one day before the start of Black History Month, and less than a month after a series of bomb threats were made to multiple HBCUs. What are HBCUs? Historically, Black colleges and universities are institutions of higher education in the United States that were established before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 with the intention of primarily serving the African American community. Most of these institutions were founded in the years after the American Civil War and are concentrated in the southern United States. During the period of segregation in the United States prior to the Civil Rights Act, the great majority of institutions of higher education served predominantly white students and disqualified or limited Black American enrollment. These institutions serve a dynamic impact in the United States of America. Many of our Black scholars come from HBCUs. Many of our Black corporate executives, entrepreneurs, inventors, business owners, and educators, they come from HBCUs. Attorneys, HBCUs, right? Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid the federal government is treating this like they treated the terrorist attack on January 6th. Oh, it's just a threat. Oh, they didn't really mean it. Everybody's safe, and they won't take it seriously. Now, here's what we know. We know that people have done this before as a way to exploit the vulnerabilities of the facility. They call in a fake threat. They want to see the response time. They want to know what your emergency response protocol is. They do it so that they can understand the weaknesses in your responses. I'm not saying I want that to be the reality, but I am saying this. The federal government, local authorities, school campus security, be on alert. Don't think this is just a prank. Waz, thoughts?
Yeah, obviously this is extremely disturbing. And I think about some of the discourse within the culture surrounding both race and education in the past year or two, critical race theory, et cetera, and all the fake boogeymen that have been sort of roused up by right wingers, right? And also I'm just like, what do people want, right? We know they don't want us to have actual resources to be able to educate ourselves. And so we go off and we form our own institutions to do so outside of the framework of public universities and the public trust, right? And then you can't even do that. They attack those same institutions that, basically arise out of necessity. I wondered, what do these people want if it's not, make them do it on their own? And when you see people doing it and thriving, they get mad at that as well. It's really concerning. And then, I do wonder about the response, how seriously this stuff will be taken and investigated, what level of resources will be deployed to protect these people, these young people specifically, as a preventative measure. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, and you kind of answered your own question. Here's what they want. They want Black folks to complain and not compete. They are afraid of true competition. And education is a prerequisite, a skill set, a degree, a certification, a credential is a prerequisite to competition in the marketplace. And if they can limit that, restrict it, or eliminate it, they will do so because they want you to complain and not compete. All right, we got an update on the story. Off-duty cop has been charged with hate crimes. He actually recorded himself committing the hate crime. Here's the video.
Trying to make a left here on the service road, and this terrorist is terrorizing me. Come out! Whoa! Whoa! Taka! You're upset because I didn't let you make the U-turn? Mr. Mohammed, please move your car, please. You bastard guy! You're God! You're God! Okay, now leave me alone. Leave me alone! ISIS! You nobody! What are you gonna do? The TLC! You blocked me! Okay. What are you gonna do, Mr. Taka? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Get in my car? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
He proceeds to physically attack the man he's being racist against. Let's put up a picture of this New York police officer. All right. This cop literally filmed his own crimes. Riggs Kwong is his name. He has been indicted for 3rd-degree assault as a hate crime, 3rd-degree menacing as a hate crime, 2nd-degree aggravated harassment, falsely reporting an incident, improper use of colored or flashing lights, and other charges according to prosecutors. Now here's what's fascinating about the list of charges. The reason why they are able to charge him with the hate crime qualifier is because literally he recorded himself being racist against the victim, okay? Let me give you some background. Riggs Kwong, 50 years of age, was hit with these hate crime charges in the one-sided January 15th melee at Ocean Parkway and Church Avenue. This was in Kensington, where he beat up an off-duty Uber driver, okay? An off-duty Uber driver named Abdul Muttalib, who's 32 years of age. After calling Muttalib Muhammad and a terrorist in a mock Arab accent, according to prosecutors, okay? So you saw the cell phone cut off. Here's what happened when the cell phone cut off. Kwong decided to knock Mr. Muttalib to the ground and repeatedly punched and kicked him while screaming racial insults at the victim. When Mr. Muttalib finally stood up and tried to walk away from this cop who was attacking him, Kwong attacked him one last time. The two drivers began fighting after Muttalib cut Kwong off while Kwong was trying to make a turn into a service road. Kwong's racist taunts prior to the beating were captured on cell phone. He took himself. The encounter escalated when Kwong spat on Muttalib, who spat back but never threw a punch, prosecutors said. 6 people called 911. They're looking at this. 6 people called 911 during the daytime clash and all reported that Kwong instigated the fight. But when Kwong called the cops, he claimed that it was actually Mr. Muttalib who hit him first. That's your false report. His statement wasn't backed by video evidence, which shows that Muttalib never raised a fist to Kwong at all. Put up his picture again. Officer Kwong, let's put up his picture. All right. He pleaded not guilty Monday afternoon in front of a Brooklyn Supreme Court judge, Raymond Rodriguez, and was escorted out of the courthouse by 6 NYPD officers. He was immediately suspended after the incident from his job. The 18-year NYPD veteran and father of 3 was released without bail, though the prosecutors, they requested it. They said, hey, listen, this guy needs a bond. They said, no, we'll release him on a signature bond. He can get out without paying anything. Now, I want you to remember, do you really think this is an isolated incident? Do you think this is the only time Mr. Kwong has been racist, lost his cool? And I know there are people that will say, well, Doc, this was just maybe a guy having a bad day. No, this was a racist person exposed, period. I have no tolerance for this at all. Racism permeates in many ways. Do you think he's only racist against one group or he's just racist, period? I think this individual is a cancer in policing, absolutely a cancer in the department. And if they don't figure out, I'm talking about policing as an industry, if they don't figure out how to actually and legitimately, appropriately hold their own accountable, The us and them mentality that permeates right now will remain and only become stronger. Wosny, thoughts?
I got too many. Just the idea that we're still doing this anti-Brown, anti-Islam rhetoric 20 plus years after 9/11, is kind of staggering. Because I lived in New York at the time, and I do remember the anti-Muslim sentiment that permeated the city, and not just within the police and FBI and all of that type of stuff, but the citizenry, right? And I think there's been a lot of work done for people to understand that like that was a sort of mass hysteria and uncalled for amount of vitriol for these people who just are fellow citizens and have nothing to do with what some maniacs do on 2 airplanes, right? But also you hit it on the head, Dr. Richie. NYPD's never gonna hold this guy accountable. And that's why they have no credibility among certain populations within the city. Like this guy, the NYPD should be coming out and saying, this is not what we stand for. This guy's not one of us. He's done, he's excommunicated. We're gonna prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. This is not what NYPD does. This is not what our mission statement is about, but they're not. And so how can certain citizens within the city view this this institution as any kind of credible? It seems impossible to me.
Yeah, and they want rules to apply to them differently. They are workers of the government. They are funded by taxpayers. They are considered public servants and accountable to the citizen, accountable to the taxpayer, but they want to be special. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. Really good comments. Before I go to the comments, let me remind everybody the watch list with the big homie J.R. Jackson live weekdays 12 p.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Find out stories that you should pay attention to: news, politics, culture, current events, sports, and more. This is a 10-week test series on TYT. Here's how you support it. All right, this is first of all an amazing freaking show. It really is. The content JR covers is, it's the extreme, all right? He goes from here to here and you feel fed, all right? You feel full at the end of it. So very proud of the show. Watch live Monday through Friday. You can go to youtube.com/watchlistTYT or facebook.com/watchlistTYT. We got a petition. TYT Investigates recently published an exclusive story about the family's secret role in Guatemala politics and how the organization's intervention has massively eroded human rights and LGBTQIA rights in the country. We're calling on Democrats to boycott the National Prayer Breakfast, which is run by the organization The Family. Sign the petition at tyt.com/petitions. This is for them to join people like Senator Tim Kaine and others to publicly send a real statement, refuse to attend the National Prayer Breakfast. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free. Back off.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. And I can't wait for everyone.
You're not going to say my son has flaws.
You can leave. No, I don't have to leave. That dress you're wearing, we paid for.
Let's calm down.
You're not going to ruin my day. You are not going to say my son has flaws.
Wow.
Everybody has flaws, and that's why I love them. You can leave, Judy.
Like you don't have flaws.
You can leave.
You can get out of my wedding now.
I'm not leaving. That dress you're wearing, I paid for.
Let's quit this.
Get out. I'm not getting out. Try it, and I'll have you arrested.
We're in a church.
Tony, get her out of here. This is not right.
Church. This is not. Disrespect the wedding.
I'm not leaving.
Show some respect. Just hold your
You
peace.
showed respect.
Like
You left your daughter at 12.
Let's just calm down. Let's say, hey, we don't need this. We don't need this.
I don't want to hear these flaws about my
All
son.
right.
Can't nobody marry my son but me. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Obviously, that was bad. All right. So obviously, the mother of the groom, who says she paid for the wedding, is not happy about a word, the word flaw. Everybody has flaws, all right? It seemed as if she needs to learn how to let go. Let me put it that way. Because at this point, you've already received the marriage license. It may have even been signed before the ceremony, which technically means they're already married. And you say, wedding crasher Karen, you say that you paid for it. I mean, damn, you can't exactly get a refund at this point. I might as well let them go through with it. Wos, what are your thoughts here, man?
I mean, we already know that Karenicity is colorblind, but can Karenicity read the room? Jesus, God Almighty, like, you know, when they tell you speak now, forever hold your peace, that's just rhetorical, guys. You're not actually supposed to say anything while these people are doing their thing and trying to get married. It's just the anger and the rage was just so palpable of just such disdain. But you know what they say about moms with their sons, Dr. Richie?
Well, listen, the woman he was marrying, she had no problem walking up on his mama. I mean, damn, you done walked up on his mama in church in the middle of your wedding? I mean, you know, listen, I wish them all the luck in the world. I hope they are one big happy family today, but that's a hell of a way to start a marriage. Okay,
that was tough. She stepped up and was ready though.
She was, wasn't she? She didn't flinch at all. All right, I got something for you. Double dose.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free. Back off. I'm going to tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
What happened?
I said, how are you?
I'm all right.
I'm Officer Berenger.
Yes.
This is Officer Doriel.
Yes.
This is the manager.
So what happened, manager? You called the cops on me after what?
I just wanted to see what department you're in.
So you called the cops on her? Or you called her because you didn't ask him anything?
I asked everyone else.
You did not ask everyone else. You only asked him. And I don't know what you said, and then you skipped this 2 white people that was here, and you came straight to us, the black person. I got you on recording, so if you want, I can show it. That's not a problem. Now, what happened? Do you call the cops on everybody here, or do you ask them?
It's okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
It's definitely okay.
It's not okay. You don't call the cops on resident. That's not what you do. But it's okay. What he should have done, was he should have went to his manager, to his boss, and asked. That has nothing to do with calling the cops. You are here, so I'm gonna record. It doesn't matter.
We're here to make sure that we're supposed to be.
I'm inside a resident.
I'm just waiting for the time, at least one time, when the responding officer looks at the person who called the cop and says, why did you call us? I mean, what's illegal here? What's the problem? Don't act as if it's strange that a person who is simply living, existing, being in their skin, don't think it's strange that they're irritated by your presence, your questions, your accusation, and your racism. Don't think that's strange. It would be strange if they were not offended by it. Of course they are offended. Let me give you some background to this story. Luke Maynard is the photographer and soccer trick shot performer, all right? Got a bunch of videos on YouTube, goes by Mr. NYC on TikTok. He was the black man recording the experience. Let's put up a picture of the individual who called the cops. He's the manager, okay? The incident took place at the Hamilton Cove Apartments in Weehawken, New Jersey, and the video has now gone viral. And hundreds of comments from users expressing their anger over the way the manager handled the situation are in the comments section. Hamilton Cove has not yet responded to any request for comment from what reporting has been done so far. They are touted as a luxury apartment brand and currently available. They have a 1-bedroom, That's basically $3,000 a month. So obviously this man was racially profiled. There was an assumption he did not belong. They decided to call the police in order to bring a gun to the situation, and they were completely mistaken in their predetermined judgment of this black male. Wosny, what are your thoughts here?
Man, it's rare that I advocate for the firing of anybody who's in a job, right? Because we all make mistakes, and obviously in a society where you're basically left to your own devices and you're on your own, you need a job to survive, right? So I would rarely call for the firing of anybody in their job, but man, this is just piss poor work on the part of this manager. How the hell do you not know who your residents are? Mask or no masks, right? Like you should know who the residents of this building is, who belongs where. It shouldn't be that hard to identify who these people are. It shouldn't just be that, there's just no way a black person could be in this gym and let me call the police on them. That's just absurd to me. This is a guy that's just in dereliction of his duties as a building manager. And then again, and I'm glad you said that about the cop. The person he should be browbeating right now is the freaking manager, is the person who erroneously called police to the scene of a guy working out in his building's gym, right? And then the attitude is always like, look, man, we're gonna let you stay. You pay just as much rent as everybody else to be here. We're allowing you to use the amenities, black person. You know you don't deserve none of this. Even when you pay for it, even when you earned it,
shame.
You're lucky.
Yeah, and that's the attitude of a lot of these individuals who demand you show them ID or demand you show them a document. And I've said this before and I stand by it. It's the equivalent of saying, where are your freedom papers? You can't move freely around here without documentation. It's the same ideology involved when somebody stops a black person they have profiled and demands they provide documentation to prove why they should be able to exist in that environment. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. All right, welcome back. We got a lot of show left. Let me read as many comments as I can. Colorado Blue Blaze regular. Way to make another couple's wedding all about you, Karen. What a monster in body and spirit. Mickey C. the Silverhaired Dragon. None of us wonders why the bride had to stand up to the MIL and the groom didn't. He's probably terrified of mommy dearest. Yeah, he don't want any of that smoke. I mean, he was just trying to get through his day. Miss Gassell, that's a mama's boy, mother who loves her son and hates his new wife, LOL. Yep, that's right, Courtney, the SLP, exercising while black. Got a new one. There it is. Woozle 1967, I hate how they tried to get him to calm down. I do too, I hate that. Like, wait a minute, I'm the guy that's supposed to be upset. It would be a problem if I wasn't upset, okay? Why are you not upset this is happening right now? You need to be upset at who called you over here, because this is a waste of your time and mine. Start and park racing, this dude should be marrying his mom. No, he shouldn't. Nazis, yeah, Nazis are in a state that's known for harboring racist people. We're talking about Florida. Here's a video.
You get some black power, you got white power here. White power. Hey, American.
You're live. 6 million viewers.
Say hi. Say hi.
White pride's when you think it. White power is when you live it. You can shove that finger up your rabbi's ass.
He's a Jew.
He's a Jew. Look at him. Guess where you're going back to?
You know how we Jew, we can tell by how close your eyes are together.
I'm gonna go tell somebody about this. Let me tell my rabbi. What are you gonna do? Let me go suck some baby penis. It's a papa. What do you say? Let me the blood from the baby's penis like the rabbi does. What do you say? Another satisfied customer. Come again.
here. It's going straight to Orange County PD.
Look, you get your flag. Go ahead. Right. Tell the cops, look.
Oh, now he's getting swung on. Don't, stop it. Don't back up.
Those are thugs, all right, savages. They call themselves white supremacists, they're white dumbasses. And these cowards are in the state of Florida, right? Do you think Governor DeSantis is outraged by this behavior in his state? No. Do you think his spokesperson is appalled at this behavior? No, they're giving these people cover, and I have the proof. This happened over the weekend in Orlando, Florida. These thugs attacked people. They were racist against people and showed their true selves, right? StopAntisemitism.org was able to take a picture and write some of their quotes. Let's put it up. What did they say? The Jew is the devil. Jews rape children and drink their blood. Jews brought slaves here. Horrific anti-Semitic, anti-black rally is happening right now in Orlando, Florida, orchestrated by white supremacist Eddie McBride and his group NSM. Why are the local PD allowing this? Great question. You know what was absent? Police. You know why they were absent? Hell, they probably were there as white nationalists, okay? That's a very real possibility here. What is the local government saying? What is their reaction? Christina Pushaw, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spokesperson, reacted by wondering whether they are actually Nazis. What did Christina say? Do we even know they're Nazis? Or is this a stunt like the white nationalists who crashed the Youngkin rally in Charlottesville and turned out to be Dem staffers? I trust Florida law enforcement to investigate, and I'm awaiting their conclusions. You see what they're doing, right? I mean, she poses a question. I mean, are these real Nazis? I mean, really, are they Nazis? I know they say they're Nazis, and they wear clothes that says we are Nazis, and they have Nazi symbols, and they are racist. But are they really? After the blowback online, she later deleted that ridiculous tweet. What about DeSantis? What about the governor, right? DeSantis on Monday declined to specifically condemn that Nazi rally. Instead, what did he choose to do? Attack Democrats. Here's the quote. DeSantis, the governor of Florida, said this. So what I'm going to say is these people, those Democrats who are trying to use this as some type of political issue to try to smear me, is it as if I had something to do with it? We're not playing their game. That's what the governor said when pressed about these racist people in his state. He pivots to blame Democrats while providing protection to these supposed white nationalists. He did not condemn them specifically. He just said, you know what? They're jackasses. That's all. That's it. He said, and I quote, some jackasses doing this on the street, first of all. State law enforcement is going to hold them accountable. I didn't see it. Because they were doing stuff on the overpass. He said before returning to criticizing Democrats, I'm not going to have people try to smear me who belong to a political party that has elevated anti-Semites to the halls of Congress. Once again, attacking Democrats. DeSantis said, singling out Representative Omar. Why would they do that? Why would they want to elevate a half dozen malcontents and try to make this an issue for political gain? Failing to deal with the reality of racist people. And here's the thing, right? He doesn't want to offend racist people. You know why he doesn't want to offend racist white people? Because he needs their vote. He needs them to sign up for his little newly created militia for the state. He needs them to continue to protest and do riots and threaten violence at school board meetings. He needs their vote. He needs the racist vote, and he knows it. So he's trying his absolute damnness not to ever offend a racist white person in the state of Florida. Wosny, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of clear that DeSantis has tried to model himself as a sort of Kirkland brand version of Donald Trump, if you will, right? This goes right out of the playbook of some of them were good people in Charlottesville, right? This is right out of that same playbook. He's basically emulating Trump at every single turn and never, ever, 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 ever condemning the acts of horrible, abhorrent white people is rule number one in that playbook. So that doesn't surprise me. But to me, it goes back to those people, right? They feel so powerless and helpless in our country. They think their little rally is gonna somehow, eradicate the country of Jewish people who are obviously just as American as anybody else, or black people like you or I, Dr. Richie, who are just as American, just as patriotic as anybody else. It's sad, their little rally was sad. It was like 7 people. And my problem, honestly, is you start taking swings at people, you start attacking people, the police should be on your ass. God forbid that was some Antifa or Black Lives Matter. If one white person that got touched, we shutting that whole thing down. I don't know why these people are allowed to act so violently and ridiculously, and police don't do anything.
Yeah, you know why. We just don't agree with the why. There's a young guy who was shot unarmed by the police. A settlement has just been reached. Let me remind you of the video. Here it is.
Put your hands in the air, do it now! 10-4, get your hands in the air! Do it now! Turn around! Turn around! Get down! Shots fired. Do not move! Do not move! Do not move! Do not move! Stay down! Hey! I got him, you're good, Hey, go, police, go! Help me, help me! Hey, come on, help him! We have an ambulance. Subject. Suspect. 3269. You didn't do nothing to help me, I'm gonna die. My guy has had correspondence down the road. Where's the gun?
He was complying with the demands of the officer. Let's show some of his injuries. Not only was he injured in his stomach, his leg, and his head. Okay. Here's the update to this horrific tragedy. Council members approved a $650,000 settlement for a case in which 2 officers shot Mr. Jerry Smith Jr., who they had cornered on the top of their building in 2017. The settlement is pending full common council approval. It is expected to receive that approval. Police had responded to a call. Here's your background. They responded to a call of someone with a gun near North 29th and West Wales Street. Jerry Smith, 19 at the time, fled officers as they approached to talk to him. One of the officers thought he saw a gun-shaped object in his pants. I mean, damn, who are you, Superman? You saw a gun-shaped object in his pants. It was not a gun. Mr. Smith did in fact surrender, and he was still shot. The police body camera footage from one of the officers, Adam Stahl, shows Smith has spread his arms and fingers as Stahl and Officer Melvin Finkley approached with guns drawn. While Smith gets to the ground, the 2 officers shot at him at close range. So once again, they're playing hide the pickle as far as pictures and more information about the officers involved. So we couldn't confirm all of the photos, but we do have the police chiefs between 2017 and 2018. Let's put up the pictures. I got both of them. Edward A. Flynn and Alfonso Morales. Those were the guys in charge during this debacle that could have ended in death, would have been a murder. Well, you may wonder, are the cops being held accountable? Okay. Smith survived, but suffered permanent partial paralysis in his right leg despite undergoing several surgeries. That's according to Daniel Storm, a private investigator working on Smith's federal civil rights lawsuit against the city. Let's put up a picture of the deputy chief DA. His name is Kent. Let's put his picture up. All right. That's your deputy district attorney. He concluded that both officers Stahl and Finkley had been justified in using deadly force as they believed Smith was armed or was reaching for a gun. No gun was ever found according to the reports because no gun was ever present. The officers had contended they were protected by qualified immunity, a doctrine that shields government officials, including police officers accused of constitutional violations in civil litigation. Pursuant to their law enforcement duties, the city appealed to the US District Court Judge Lynn Alderman's ruling against the officers' qualified immunity protection, all right? In August 2021, a panel of the 7th US Circuit Court of Appeals dismissed the qualified immunity appeal for the officers, returning the matter to the district court for further proceeding. You saw what I saw. Let's bring two things back to the conversation: common sense and humanity. You saw a teenager who was complying, unarmed, getting on the ground, and he was shot and could have been killed. He has been severely injured because of these cops. His life has been transformed forever. It's amazing to me that the people who preach responsibility do not want it applied to them. This should have been a criminal case. Woz, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's just exactly as you said. He's ruined this young man's life by paralyzing him, obviously. And the video clearly states that the dude was getting on the ground. I just can't understand how scary and how scared these dudes are always. I feared for my life. You have a gun. You're flanked by about 3-4 other dudes with guns, and it's one guy. How could you be that scared as a dude is falling to the ground, right? And they want us to call these people heroes, etc., the bravest people around. Yet they're always freaking scared. It's one of the weirdest things. And again, like I don't know how this is the right way to do policing. How can you watch that video and come away from it saying, no, this guy did his job perfect? This is exactly what we expect out of police. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we're gonna continue to follow the story. The settlement has not been fully approved yet, and the district court can still make a ruling about qualified immunity. We'll give you the update as it comes. Brother, thank you for being on the show. How can people follow you, man?
Yeah, just Big Woz on every single social media platform. That's BIGWOS. Of course, check out Wosny on the TYT Twitch stream. We're doing that tonight at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. I've added a new addition to the family, Dr. Richie. I added a kitten named Mimi. We're gonna do the Mimi reveal live on Twitch tonight.
Congrats,
everybody's
brother.
gonna get to meet Mimi, so please check it out tonight on the TYT Twitch stream.
Awesome.
Of course, check us out on theringer.com.
Always a pleasure, brother. Thank you, man. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.